When talking about things you should be keeping a close eye on this Brave spring training, top prospect Drake Baldwin is something everybody should be excited to see live in action. We'll see if he gets a chance to start the year on opening day. I'm more of the fact I believe he will be around in the summer months if everything goes according to plan. Let Sean Murphy get a lot of those reps early on and let Drake Baldwin continue to work things out in AAA, getting every day at bats. But FanGraphs is unbelievably, incredibly high on Drake Baldwin, ranking him the 11th best prospect, not in the Brave system, in all of baseball. He is damn near a top 10 prospect. Now, what does that mean for you guys that don't keep track of Braves prospects very closely? Well, he's the highest graded FanGraphs prospect since Ronald Acuna Jr. So that's what it means. Like, now I'm not saying he's going to be Ronald Acuna Jr., but anytime you get in that top 10 of the top 100 prospects, you're talking about guys that are projected to be all-star level players, and that is what FanGraphs is projecting Drake Baldwin.
You can see why the Braves were, reluctant to trade him and include him in any of these, blockbuster trades that were rumored to be on the cusp. Whether it was Garrett Crochet, any of the notable names, the Braves were reluctant to include Drake Baldwin in those trade talks. And you could see why. For the kind of guy he is, his hit tool is elite. It's elite for any position, let alone a catcher who you really just need to be serviceable to carve out a nice little career if your defense is good enough. His hit tool is good for any position, let alone a catcher. And I think more than that, it gives you the kind of, confidence going forward where this isn't the first time the Braves have the two catcher thing that they did it a while with William Contreras and Travis d'Arnaud. They clearly place an emphasis on having two quality catchers in their system at one time. Obviously, he's in AAA, but he should be in Atlanta in no time. And I think that if Marcell Ozuna was not on this team, that Drake Baldwin would be on the opening day roster and letting Sean Murphy catch, 70% of the games. He catches 30%. And in those other 70%, he's DHing. I think that it's only a matter of time before we see him in Atlanta. And I think what's going to happen is going to be an injury, whether it's to somebody, that forces Ozuna or Sean Murphy, whatever it is. Because injuries are going to happen. I'd be shocked if they didn't. And it's only a matter of time before we see that exact tool in the majors. It's the only reason, other than obviously that he plays a premium position, that the Braves haven't included him in any trade talks for anyone.
Yeah, this was a guy that, there were even rumors that when Tyler Glasnow was getting traded from the Rays, that they wanted Baldwin. This was before Baldwin even broke out. And Tyler Glasnow, obviously, even though he's had injury concerns, was a star pitcher when healthy. And the Braves, they balked at that. There were rumors that he was involved in pretty much every big trade that the Braves have been. They've wanted Drake Baldwin. And this is a position, if you look back at it, that the Braves have developed really well. Look at William Contreras. I know he's not on the Braves roster, unfortunately, but the guy is arguably the best catcher in baseball. Yeah, Shea Langelier is a stud.
Now quietly one of the better catchers in baseball.
Defensively, he's elite, and he's got some pop. He's probably a top 15 catcher, maybe even a borderline top 10, and he's still a young guy. Could be a top 5 catcher, here in a few years. And this is a position now Drake Baldwin seems to be next in line. And I'm with you. If an injury arises, he seems like he's going to be the first person to get to a call, whether it's Murphy and or Ozuna. Hopefully that doesn't happen. I'd much rather him just force his way up and just kind of get himself in the mix. Maybe Ozuna needs an off day. He gets a little DH. Sean Murphy, obviously those summer months can be grueling in Atlanta. I know Murphy wants to catch more, but it's never a bad thing to have a guy that you can just sub in and he's going out there and hitting 280, 290 and giving you better offense than probably Sean Murphy. Like right now, if you were to ask me who's a better offensive player, it's not ridiculous to say Drake Baldwin could be better offensively. Defensively is where the concerns, but he made big strides defensively, particularly when it comes to pop time and throwing guys out. He's elite at that level. He improved at blocking. He improved at receiving. He improved at framing. So there's a lot of things to be extremely excited about for Drake Baldwin, and I believe he's going to be a big part of this organization. And one thing you can say about the Atlanta Braves, right? They've made a lot of trades. They have an eye for their own talent as well as any organization in baseball. Think about all the prospects they've traded out. almost none of them outside of William Contreras, who we just mentioned, has panned out and been a star. And they've made some big blockbuster trades where they've traded away guys, and basically all of them are either out of the MLB or struggling to stay on a major league roster, even top prospects like Christian Pache. And then the guys that they keep, the Spencer Striders, the Michael Sorokas, I know injuries hurt him, but those guys all turn into stars. Like Michael Harris, like that was a guy every single person wanted. And they were like, no, we're good. I mean, even think back to 2017, 2018 when JT Realmuto, for those of you that have been following the team closely, that was a guy the Braves wanted. He ended up getting traded. Well, they wanted Michael Soroka and like Ronald Acuna Jr. or Ozzie Albies. The Braves were like, nah. Well, now you see why. And this is kind of the same track record that they've taken, the same path they've taken with Drake Baldwin, and that's what should make you really excited.
There's obviously a logjam at the position, but it's never a bad thing to have a ton of good players, like ever. I mean, it's a good problem to have on our hands. It's just, where's he going to fit? And that's the only question. Well, it's not a matter of like if he works out. It's where he's going to work out. And that's what's
so intriguing about the Sean Murphy season. After he had that bad season, I'm not one of those guys that's down in the dumps on Sean Murphy. He had a very bad season, but I think the oblique injury was very, very difficult for him to return from and be 100%. I don't think he was ever 100%, but this is a big year for him to prove, because if he goes out there and has another underwhelming campaign and Drake Baldwin goes out there and hits the piss out of the ball and then comes up, I mean, there's a legitimate scenario, right, where Drake Baldwin hits the piss out of the ball for 4 months, gets the call, and all of a sudden Sean Murphy's struggling, Drake Baldwin's the starting catcher. And then it's like, what are we doing with Sean Murphy? Like, I think that's also a legitimate possibility this season.
Yeah, I mean, you'd be foolish to say otherwise. In his time in Atlanta, he's been more bad than good. That is Sean Murphy. But again, I am extremely high on Sean Murphy. He didn't just forget how to play baseball. I mean, it's that simple. And the struggles, in his first season, that first half of the first season was as good as we have ever seen, from Sean Murphy. He obviously tapered off right there, but still all-star level production in terms of the entire season. And his second season, I don't want to make excuses, but there's valid reasons why he struggled. I mean, he is the kind of guy who needs to be in a groove, in a rhythm, in the lineup, 70% of the time to get as much as you can out of him. And that just wasn't a reality last year, whether it was the injury or the fact that Travis d'Arnaud was hitting well and the Braves were at a point where it's like, we can't let you figure it out, Sean Murphy. We need every bit of the offense we can get.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the past of Sean Murphy, where he's had his most success is when he's catching damn near every game, catching 119, 125 games a season. He's going to have that opportunity to start this season. Hopefully he starts it off a lot better. I'm not ready to give up on him, but Drake Baldwin does add an intriguing aspect, and it's good news for the Braves because they got two really good options, at least we hope, on paper.